Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Qasim.
My name's Aman.
Okay, so Aman, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling really good. Really stressed with exams, but how about you?
I'm just trying to get ahead of schedule, start my preparation well. I've already started preparing, but I just hope I do well this exams.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's start off with our poem is Suicide in the Trenches by Sasoon, and our research question is in what ways does Suicide in the Trenches reflect Sasoon's anger towards the public's romanticized view of war?
Yeah.
I want to start us off.
Okay. I knew a simple soldier boy who grinned at life in empty joy, slept soundly through the lonesome dark, and whistled early with the lark.
Okay, so straight away we can see we meet this simple soldier boy who's innocent, he's nameless, we don't have a name for him, faceless, and he's described as an innocent young chap. He grinned at life with empty joy. This sounds like someone young, carefree, maybe even naive because he's not experienced the true horrors of warfare. He doesn't know yet. He's just young and naive. You don't know. He is not experienced.
And I think the phrase empty joy is really crucial because it implies a sort of meaningless happiness that he doesn't know exactly what he's about to face because he doesn't understand the war that he's about to face. And maybe he's grinning because no one told him the truth of what he's about to go through.
Okay, and then Sasoon also says slept soundly and whistled with the lark. So Sasoon, he's romanticizing him only to destroy that illusion later. This stanza, I think it mimics like idyllic war imagery and propaganda that filled the newspapers of the time. I think it shows how the public only showed success stories of war.
Yeah.
It's bait.
So I think we should move on to the second stanza now. In winter trenches, cowed and glum, with crumbs and lice and lack of rum, he put a bullet through his brain, and no one spoke of him again.
Okay, so this is where the tone really changes hard. Winter trenches were freezing, muddy, and full of death. Cowed means frightened. Crumbs are exploding shells, and a lack of rum. That's a real detail, I think, because rum was standard to all the soldiers of the army, and I think it helped them disguise and shield themselves from the horrors of warfare. You know, try to escape that horrible feeling, that captivating, just horrible feeling, and I think they used it as a shield, kind of. So
Yeah.
it's really bad.
And you can see that from the first stanza to the second stanza, he goes from innocence to horror. And then suicide, it's really sudden, it's abrupt. And Sasoon, he gives us no sentiment, no poetic flourish, just he put a bullet through his brain. Period, full stop, that's it.
And this is where the real killer dagger line comes. No one spoke of him again. That's where Sasoon's anger really kicks in. It's not just tragedy, Amma. It's the public back home. They just want victory stories. They don't want the stories of suicide. They pretend it never happened. This, I think, it shows how, like, when we go to war, we don't really appreciate the soldiers who die for us. And it's such a tough mental state that people think they can just do it easily themselves. They don't see it's the hardest job in the world. You protect your country on the front lines. It's a crazy task, and there will be people who die and commit suicide, and who just can't handle it.
And I think because this is based in World War One, you can kind of infer that Sasoon is exposing like a national cover-up, don't you say? Because he's furious with like the soldiers' pain that it doesn't fit with the patriotic script. So it's hidden, it's sanitized, it's ignored. No one cares about it, and that's really
Bad. Okay, now the third stanza, the confrontation. You smug-faced crowd with kindling eye, who cheer when soldier lads march by, sneak home and pray you'll never know the hell where youth and laughter go.
so. You smug-faced crowds. He's literally pointing at the readers, not the generals, not the enemy, not the soldiers, but the public. And this is like Sasoon's message to the ones who cheer at the parades but they never really stepped into that trench, did they?
Yeah. So we can also see Sasoon says kindling eye. That's absolutely terrifying to me. Kindling is what you use to start a fire. So Sasoon's he's trying to say that the excitement it really sparks the fuel that fuels the machine of death. And that's not just criticism, that's blaming the public for
Yeah.
doing these things.
And then he says sneak home. Not walk home, not jog home, not run home. Sneak. Why do you think he used that? It's because, like, you're guilty. Like, you have something to be ashamed of. And he's inferring that you should have something to be guilty of. Because you're not recognizing what the people who died went through. Like that
Okay.
little soldier boy.
And then one of the most devastating lines in the whole World War One poetry: "The hell where youth and laughter go. That's the real cost of war. Not just bodies, but joy, innocence, childhood." Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go through the historical context.
Yeah, so why was Sassoon this angry?
Okay, so I believe Sassoon was this angry because he saw what the public just didn't see. He served in the trenches. He experienced warfare. He watched his friends get blown up, die, commit suicide. And while patching up the dead, newspapers were printing poems like Rupert Brooks' The Soldier. If I should die, think only this of me. This is like absolutely crazy to me because
What?
it shows that the British press it just shows the the good parts, even though the real sacrifice and the real progress it only occurs with these sacrifices which go on
Yeah.
and the tragedies.
It's patriotic, it's uplifting, but it's also really deeply misleading. I think they're trying to make a positive face
Completely.
for the public, don't you think?
Yeah, and basically, I think it's what historians call the myth of noble sacrifice. It's kind of it's crazy that people just believe that this is the hardest job in the world to do these things. And people can believe they can just do it themselves. No, you can't. It's so hard to do. These are the people who fought for you. They fought for you to be alive today, for your children, for your grandchildren. They fought for this. And these are the true heroes of our nation. It's just crazy to me. And Sassoon, he hated this so much. In 1917, he publicly refused to fight any longer. He wrote a letter to Parliament accusing the government of deliberately prolonging the war. And that's just crazy to me because deliberately prolonging the war, it just creates so much more death. And
Yeah. And instead of court martialing him, they decided to declare him mentally ill. And they sent him to Craig Lockhart War Hospital, where he met Wilfred Owen and helped him, find his poetic voice, which then he wrote all these amazing poems about.
okay. So I think the poem it's not just about anger, even though it's a really major part of it. It's
Yeah.
about protest as well. So Soon is using this poetry as political resistance. It's brilliant.
So I think now let's go back to the research question. In what ways does the poem reflect Sassoon's anger at the romanticized view of war?
Yeah. So, firstly, I think it shatters the myth of glory that is so perceived by the public eye. The soldier doesn't die in a heroic battle. He dies with suicide, being killed by guns, bombs, all these things. He's killed in despair. He's killed in misery. It completely contradicts the patriotic narrative shown in the newspapers just to keep people thinking happy. It's crazy to me.
And secondly, I think it attacks the public directly because Sassoon doesn't ask for sympathy. He blames civilians for cheering, for sending boys to war, and forgetting the ones who don't come back home. They're remembering the people who survived, but not the people who suffered the most, the worst.
Spot on, man. So next, it exposes selective memory. People only remember the good memories. No one wants to remember a bad memory. No one wants to do that. And even if the bad memory can play such a crucial part in the story, maybe it could be the whole story. But it's like no one spoke of him again. It just shows that no one wants to remember the suicide and they refuse to confront the fears of truth. It's just no one wants to like acknowledge that sacrifice. Even if someone commits suicide, they still serve and they still help protect. It just some people just can't handle it anymore. It's a crazy task to do.
Yeah.
And basically, it's also they romanticize the version of war, and it has no room for dead teenagers who just couldn't take it anymore. Even though everyone who sacrificed should be remembered, the good and the bad. Not bad, but the people who sacrificed, even if they had a sad story.
I agree. And I think fourthly, it makes more hellish, not heroic. Like Sassoon doesn't use like grand metaphors. He uses the mud, the cold, the trenches, the explosions. Like this isn't a myth. It's real. It's reality. And he wants us to feel it, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, so here's my question. It's what I've been curious about. Why do we still romanticize war today? I mean, just a recent example. You know how there's been the recent conflict between Pakistan and India? There's people making memes about it online, saying Pakistan might have won the meme war and all these things. I mean, I get it, it's funny to some people, but at the same time, why do we still romanticize war? People think of it as a joke.
Yeah, and adding to that topic, people are saying like, oh, we're gonna be India, we're gonna be Pakistan. Like it's some sort of cricket game. It's not. People are gonna die, people are gonna get killed, people are gonna get exploded. And no one cares. So I think going on topic, I really think so. It we still do romanticize war today because war is still framed as an honorable and noble. People get medals. Films, TV shows, even video games, they focus on like the sacrifice and justice, but they rarely show the PTSD, suicide, the bureaucracy, the indifferences of how people are treated.
Yeah. So another issue that I think war it doesn't have it has a lasting effect. So
Yeah.
veterans like suicide among veterans is still a crisis all over the world. Specifically in the UK, there have been over 400 suicides linked to the Afghanistan and Iraqi wars, and 400 people were killed. That's more than who were killed in the wars themselves. That's crazy because it shows how war it's such a hard thing to do to just go into war.
Yeah.
And how being a soldier has its like traumatic effects.
Yeah, and so soon, it's still a mirror of what war is like today because it's still asking us, are you cheering? And if you are, do you know what you're cheering for?
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, Suicide in the Trenches, it really reflects Sassoon's anger in every line. And it's a poem that mourns a life, but more than that, it condemns a lie.
I agree. And it says, stop romanticizing, start remembering. Because if we keep believing that war is this beautiful thing, more boys will disappear. And no one will speak of them again. It's going to make this problem even worse than it was in World War One.
Absolutely. And that's why we read poetry like this. We don't read poetry to feel better. We read it to feel something true, to remember, appreciate, and respect the people who died for us and have helped us be alive.
And that's why I think people like me, you, Mr. Hooli, appreciate. Um, and I think this is why people like me, you, and Mr. Hooli, we appreciate this type of poetry because it really tells us something true, honest, the realities of war. And so, thank you for joining us on our podcast. Read the poem, talk about it, and next time someone calls war glorious, ask them to read Secret Sasoon. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So he mentions you smug faced crowds. He's literally pointing at the readers, not the generals, not the soldiers, not the enemy, the public. And this is Sasoon's message. Stop looking at me!
I need to.
I think this is Sasoon's message to the one who cheers. What are you doing? Why are you laughing?
Sasoon.